Toy Story 4. Woody, Buzz and the gang are back, and when their new owner Bonnie creates a new favourite toy from a spork, and that toy goes missing during a family road trip, Woody sets out to rescue him for the sake of Bonnie's happiness. During his adventure, he runs into an old friend who opens his eyes to the different ways that a toy can live. I've never been the biggest fan of the Toy Story movies. I like them fine and I appreciate how good they were, but I never felt the urge to watch them more than once. I only remember finding the third one to actually be really funny, like when they were trying to make it more of a comedy adventure. I liked the way it ended, even if I did think that Andy giving up the toys at the end was a bit overdone. Like, if he had just hesitated before handing Woody over, that would have been enough. But with the sad look back as he drives away, but he gives this big speech about how Woody will be your best friend, he'll always be there for you, like he knows that the toy is alive. Keep the subtle moments and leave the rest. It's like a 5-minute long scene. But it was a good ending, and when I heard that they were doing a fourth one, it sounded like a bad idea to me. I wasn't really interested, and the trailer showing the Forky character made it seem like one of those TV specials, which I have not watched. So I went in with lowish expectations. Like, yeah, we made our big emotionally satisfying ending, and this is just a fun adventure, a bit of spectacle that'll try not to shit all over that ending. But I really liked this. It was really funny, and it was more focused on the development of the characters, especially Woody, than it was on the plot or the action sequences. It didn't shy away from saying that the ending in Toy Story 3 wasn't really the ending, and I actually found the ending in this to be more appropriate and satisfying than 3. That film was an ending for the Andy character. This time it's an ending for Woody, and because he's the actual main character and the one that we are always rooting for, it meant a lot more to me. It has all the good character stuff that gives the film weight, but it's also really fucking funny. I don't usually laugh out loud in the cinema, but I was for this, and lots of other people were too. Kids were laughing, but it seemed like it was the adults who were laughing the most, or at least the longest. The one standout moment that was so funny was there's like these 3 muscular action figure types they keep high-fiving. Jesus Christ, that was so funny. Just the way some of the toys move is just funny. It's really well animated. The design of the Forky character is funny too. It's crude and weird, and because of his shape he walks funny, and he's always panicking and scared, and he's played by Buster Bluth, so it's like perfect casting.
What do you expect, Mother? I'm half machine. I'm a monster!
The way he acts at first is funny, but it goes on a bit too long and starts to become annoying, but it works because Woody's looking after him and he's supposed to be annoyed. He's a character who feels a lot of responsibility to his kid, so we feel how sometimes it becomes a real burden to him. The editing was great too. It makes a lot of the humour land. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen are of course great as Woody and Buzz. I don't mind too much that they've kind of made Buzz Lightyear a bit of an idiot. It's funny because they haven't made him completely incompetent. He still gets stuff done. He's a toy that can be relied on. All the small scale Mission Impossible stuff that you usually get from the franchise is all here too, and it's at least as fun as the ones that have come before, which means it's pretty fun. I love how one of the big set pieces is just the toys trying to get into like a locked cabinet, and it's always fun watching them use toys and household items to get around and accomplish their missions. I'm not completely on board with all the crazy love that Keanu Reeves is getting these days. I mean, he's great, and I've always thought he was great, but it feels a lot like that whole Chuck Norris thing. It seemed like not that long ago that he was everyone's go-to actor as an example of a boring lead performance that the audience can just project themselves into, mostly because of The Matrix. He plays a Canadian motorcycle stuntman toy in this, and he's great. The whole thing about him being haunted by this kid giving him away because he couldn't jump as far as they made it seem in the commercial for his toy was really funny and relatable, because I think we've all been burned by misleading ads on TV. Bo Peep returns too, and she's good, but I think that the design of her character, how she's made of porcelain and shiny and stuff, means you don't get as much emoting on her face compared to the other characters. I think maybe if she'd had a stronger voice performance, it might have made up for that, but she's fine. She's still a good character. The film has a villain of sorts. The introduction of the villain is amazing. It's the first time I can remember something being so over-the-top creepy that it had me laughing really hard. She's a doll in a pram, and she's being pushed around this old antique store by her henchmen, who look basically like Slappy from Goosebumps. And they're made of more flimsy material, so they like flop around in this really off-putting way. And then the music from The Shining starts playing. It's really over the top. It's great. It's not a series that ever felt like it really needed villains, but in this the villain's very sympathetic. By the end it becomes clear that the doll and Bo Peep are representations of the possible extremes of Woody's choices. If he continues along his current path of obsessing about making his kid happy and trying to be relevant and needed by them, then eventually, inevitably, he'll be abandoned by his kid like all toys are, and he'll be just like the villain. But Bo Peep represents a different way of life that is unfamiliar and scary, but doesn't really have a countdown to a time when a kid will outgrow their toys, which is always the unspoken darkness that has hung over this series. It's focused on in the third one and has a happy resolution with Andy giving away his old toys to Bonnie, but it probably won't always work out that well for Woody. A lot of the film is set inside this antique store, which gets a bit repetitive, but I like the contrast between the old dusty dead place that is probably the exact kind of place that Woody will eventually end up, and the bright, colourful, full of life carnival that's just outside that shows the possibility of a brighter future. For 3 movies, we've watched Woody make choices for the good of others. Especially as kid, he feels like it's his responsibility to always be there, but it costs him. It made me think of like Spider-Man 2 a bit, where he's doing his best, but he's not really getting anything out of it for himself. The film deals with a lot of simple emotions and scenarios, like a kid's first day of school, and loneliness, and abandonment. Because of that, there are a lot of moments that just really hit you in the gut. It's something that most of the really good Pixar films have in common, and Randy Newman's score really helps all of that work. The story is all about the characters' choices and sacrifices and the consequences of those choices, and Woody is one of the great active protagonists in film history. Most of the things that happen are a result of his decisions and his actions, and it's been that way through all 4 of the films in this series. It's a great looking film, especially when you see the carnival scenes at night. It always surprises me how much further they seem to be able to push the quality of this animation. There's also an opening scene in the rain that looks so real that I would not be surprised if they came out and said that they just shot it in real life and added the characters afterwards. Something that did bother me was the way that the romances are handled. It's clear that Woody really likes Bo Peep, but it just feels so sexless. I said this before in the Lego 2 review. Why do they never kiss? I find it weird. Like, why can't you show kissing in a U-rated film? It makes the romance less impactful and our understanding of what it is less solid. I kept waiting for Woody to lean in for the kiss and Bo Peep to be like, whoa, what are you doing? You know, like, Woody, I like you, but, you know, not like that. They also completely abandoned the romance between Buzz and Jessie. It's just not even slightly hinted at all, which is disappointing because it was one of the aspects of the other films that I remember liking a lot. I'm going to give Toy Story 4 an A. Kids will like it, adults will like it. If you like the other ones, then you'll probably like this. They always have pretty much the same plot. The toys are lost or separated and have to find their way back or mount a rescue mission, and then there's a deadline. The film uses the familiar tropes and beats we expect from the series to explore the characters and the themes, but I enjoyed it more this time. I don't think that they should make another one after this, but I thought that about the third one, and this one feels like such an appropriate continuation of that one that I can't believe that they didn't always have this storyline planned out ahead of time. It just shows that if the idea and the execution are good enough, there are no bad ideas, especially when it comes to film. Thank you very much for watching my review. Please like and subscribe. It helps me out. It helps the channel grow. And follow me on Twitter at LookToTheMovies. Please comment down below. Let me know if you've seen Toy Story 4, what you thought of it, if you liked it, disliked it, if you have any points of your own, or if you have any comments about the points that I made. I'll be back soon with more reviews, and I'll see you then.